In this plan will require you or your employer to change the coverage of the doctor you have. That's why my proposal builds on the current system, where most Americans get their health insurance from their employer. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. We will start by reducing premiums by as much as $2,500 per family. That's why I met with representatives of insurance and drug companies, doctors and hospitals, and labor unions who are pledging to do their part to reduce health care costs. Our cost-cutting measures mirror most of the proposals in the current Senate bill, which reduces most people's premiums and brings down our deficit by up to $1 trillion over the next decade because we're spending our health care dollars more wisely.
Now, unfortunately, this is only a one-hour special. Otherwise, that highlight reel of broken promises could have gone on all night long. Joining me now to debate the truth about Obamacare, we go back to our studio audience. Well, let's see. One of the things we've learned is that 30 million Americans still will remain uninsured. People aren't going to be able to keep their plan, and that $2,500 savings, most people in 46 states aren't going to see that.
Well, yeah, let's understand, our system before the Affordable Care Act was far from perfect. We had 2 decades of double-digit health inflation. We had 2 decades of health care costs exceeding real wage increases. So clearly something needed to be done. And there's some very good parts of this bill that move us from a fee-for-service system into something other, population-based, that rewards quality over quantity. We have to change the system, and while we might not like some parts of the bill, we ought to be able to maintain those that we do.
Phil?
Well, look, Sean, the bottom line is this bill is not ready, okay? That's why they delayed the employer mandate. That's why they delayed the employer reporting requirements. They've already scrapped things like the Class Act, big elements of this bill. But the heart of it are the exchanges. They're not ready to go. They want to force people to buy insurance from a system that is going to be a complete and utter mess. There are 12% of Americans who think keeping the employer mandate intact for next year is the right thing to do. The overwhelming majority either want it repealed or they want it delayed for 1 year. This is a president who got elected saying we hate the 1%. I'm for the regular guy. I'm for fairness. What could be more fundamental fairness than to give the same relief, the same 1-year delay to small businesses and individuals that Obama gave to the giant 1% corporations?
Isn't the bigger question, how many here would support Congress and the Senate, Mike Lee's effort to defund? Hands up. How many are? Steve Forbes, I don't see your hand up. You're surprising me.
I believe they should try the defunding, but I don't think they should go to the wall on it, because I think Obama wants to have a government shutdown in his campaign to rule by decree and discredit Congress. So I hope they get their tactics right on.
Let me point out that the president does not have the constitutional authority to pick and choose which parts of a law he enforces. And the law says the mandate begins January 1st. So Congress actually has a constitutional duty to defund. The Constitution says it. It's part of checks and balances. And in Federalist 58, James Madison said when the president overreaches and tries to grab more power than the Constitution allows, it is the duty of Congress to defund, to withhold the power of the purse.
Let me go to Keisha, and I'm going to get back to Mr. Forbes.
Yes. As a small business owner, I was really excited to hear about Obamacare, but I will admit that one of the biggest problems is no one understands it. I speak to everyday people, and they don't understand, okay, how much will the premiums be? What am I getting out of this law? And just looking at that binder over there, it's clear it's too much, but I think the intent is good.
Dr.
I agree. I thought I was here for politicians behaving badly, but when I found out why I was here, I started asking around. Do you understand?
We did Anthony Weiner last week.
Right. Okay. So I'm catching up. Nobody really understands it, and I think people are not in this room. But
we do understand it's going to cost more.
Yes.
We do understand there's still going to be 30 million
uninsured. And the people that are even a little bit knowledgeable understand that it's going to cost us a lot of money that we don't have to spend.
Let me go back to Steve Forbes. Steve, what I'm surprised about with you is if Republicans don't fight on this and there are political considerations, what do they stand for?
No, it's not fighting. It's how you fight.
Okay.
In a way that you set the foundation to win this thing in 2014 and remove its legitimacy. The House finally is going to do some things right. They voted on the employer mandate. They voted on the individual mandate. Now they're going to go after the IRS. pass these bills, send them to the Senate, have the Senate reject them and say, here's what they want, here's what we have. Do it right. There's also a very interesting lawsuit coming out of Oklahoma. The bill says the Congress, the government cannot give subsidies to people on exchanges unless the state puts the exchange in it, unless the state puts the exchange in itself. So 34 states haven't done that. That, in effect, defunds the whole thing. Support that Oklahoma lawsuit.
That's a choke point I've been involved in.
Let's hear it. Go ahead. Yeah.
And also in the D.C. Federal District Court case. Yeah. If you can topple that and take away the manna from heaven are the tax credit premium assistance payments. If Obamacare doesn't have that, it can throw everything else over the side. It can throw away mandates. It can throw away all the rules. But if it can't deliver the bucks to people, that's where it dries up. That's a choke point in an end game. Yeah. The problem with defunding is don't take a hostage if you're not ready to shoot it.
Grace Marie, go ahead.
Well, this law is just not ready for prime time. You've got one of the things they most wanted to do is to get young people enrolled in the exchanges. That's why the president's talking about getting the NBA and the national football, the football players.
$700 million we're going to spend on advertising?
To tell us how much we should love Obamacare. But people are going to find out what this law means. That's what's happening with small businesses. They're having to put people on part-time to avoid the fines. But individuals, especially healthy young people, when they see the size of the premium that they're going to have to pay for health insurance, and they're going to say $3,000, $95 for a fine,
take the
give
fine.
me a break.
Well,
and so you're going to
first of all, these young people are home anyway because they don't have jobs.
They don't have jobs. That's exactly
And their moms
right.
and dads would love to get them out of the house.
But these are the very people you need in these exchanges.
As a flexible staffing industry person, the temporary help industry is growing, of course, quite rapidly because of the uncertainty that's out there. Businesses are not going to hire people on a permanent basis. This is good for your
business.
Pardon?
This is good for your business.
It's good for our business, but not good for America. And that's the important thing. Are we more interested in our business or America? I'm more interested in America than I am in our own business. But 94% of all the companies over 50 employees had health insurance. So there's only 6% of them that was going to affect anyway. We have health insurance with our company for every temporary associate. If they want to take it, they can take it.
Manpower once when I was in my early 20s. I needed a job for a short period. They gave me a sickle and they said, see that hill with all that grass? Go cut it. I'm like, oh, well, I needed health insurance after that.
We have 80,000 employees a day.
That's amazing. We got to take a break. I promise we'll get to everybody. And coming up next, the campaign to derail Obamacare is now taking over the airwaves. We're going to play for you the very latest television ad to target the controversial law. We'll get reaction from our studio audience. We always want to hear from you. Log on to our special companion site, HannityLive.foxnews.com. Follow the show, share your thoughts on Obamacare, or you can join us on Twitter @SeanHannity.